In a hospital, there's a patient named Josie, a determined woman in her late 60s, who had been waiting patiently for a heart transplant for a year. Finally, a doctor approached her and said a heart donor had been found, and Josie was scheduled for surgery. However, just before the operation, a young patient, barely in their 20s, had been rushed to the hospital in critical condition, desperately needing a heart transplant to survive. The medical team faced a difficult decision: should they proceed with Josie's surgery, or divert their attention to the younger patient who was in immediate danger.
Sometimes in our lives, we encounter difficult situations just like the story that we presented earlier. That kind of story is what we called, or one of the examples of what we call ethical dilemmas. Sometimes we find ourselves in a place where it is so hard to make a decision, especially if that decision can make a great life changing in someone else's life, maybe it be negative or positive. Maglisod ta, maglibog ta kay basin nga one wrong move, then basin makadaot na sa life sa other or makanit magani sa life sa other, pero there is somehow a negative effect gahapon. Thankfully, there is what we call a seven-step model for ethical decision making, which includes gathering the facts, identify the stakeholders, articulate the dilemma, list the alternatives, compare the alternatives with the principle, weigh the consequences, and make the decisions. We will make this, or we will use the steps in order for us to make a sound decision that can make a greater common good for the stakeholders that may be included in the situation.
So before we proceed with the seven-step model for ethical decision making, I'm going to discuss what principle the story aligns with. So the story is related to the principle of St. Thomas Aquinas, the natural law theory. So this theory places great emphasis on the preservation of life as a fundamental principle rooted in the rational order of the universe and human nature. According to Aquinas, humans have a natural inclination to preserve their own lives and the lives of others, aligning with the primary precepts such as self-preservation, reproduction, and the pursuit of knowledge. This principle underscores the intrinsic value and dignity of human life, making it morally obligatory to protect and preserve life whenever possible. In essence, the preservation of life serves as a cornerstone of Aquinas' ethical framework, guiding individuals to respect and uphold the sanctity of human life in themselves and others.
So the facts gathered from the story are: first, Josie in her late 50s has been waiting for a transplant for years, and that the second known is that her condition has worsened over time, but she remains hopeful for a transplant. And then the third one, a heart donor becomes available for Josie. And then the last fact is that a young patient in critical condition, which is in her 20s, also urgently needs a heart transplant to survive.
So these are the stakeholders present in our story. First is Josie, the elderly woman waiting for the transplant for years. She has the right to the transplant given her long wait and deteriorating condition. Next is the young patient in critical condition who urgently needs a heart transplant to survive. Next is the medical team responsible for making the decision about who receives the heart. They must consider medical ethics, resource allocation, and the well-being of both patients. Next and lastly is the families of both patients, who are likely experiencing immense fear and desperation, wanting everything done to save their loved one's life.
Okay, so now let's articulate the dilemma. So the medical team is confronted with a profound ethical dilemma. On one hand, there's an elderly woman who has patiently waited for years for a suitable heart donor, finally matched and scheduled for surgery. On the other hand, a young patient in critical condition arrives needing an immediate heart transplant to survive. So in this case, na elderly woman nga dugay na kaayo siya na nagpaabot sa iyang heart transplant. And na siya heart donor, so nakascheduled na ang iyang surgery. Pero naay niabot bago pa lang jud niabot nga young patient nga kinahanglan pud niya og heart donor And since critical na ang iyang kondisyon, and na possibility nga ang consequences ana is parehas pod sa elderly woman. So, prioritizing the elderly woman honors her long wait and commitment to treatment, yet choosing the young patient saves a life at the brink of loss. So it's a tension between respecting the accumulated life experiences and hopes of the elderly woman versus the urgent imperative to save a life with potentially many years ahead.
So we have the list of alternatives. First, proceed with Josie's scheduled surgery, as she has been waiting patiently for a year and is also in need of transplant. Second, proceed with the younger patient's surgery, disregarding the long wait of Josie for the transplant. Next, divert attention to the young patient in critical condition, prioritizing the immediate need for a heart transplant to survive, while Josie medical team may provide support while she waits for another opportunity for a transplant. And lastly, consider the feasibility and ethical implication of heart splitting to potentially save both Josie and the young patient with critical condition.
Comparing alternative 1 with the principles of St. Thomas Aquinas. In this scenario, prioritizing Josep's surgery, given a long wait and need for a transplant, could conflict with the principle of proportionality. The young patient's critical condition presents an immediate and urgent need for a transplant to survive, aligning more closely with the principle of preserving life when faced with life-threatening circumstances. Although Josie's situation is undoubtedly important, the ethical imperative to prioritize the life of the young patient in critical condition resonates more strongly with the principles by St. Thomas Aquinas. Therefore, alternative number 1 may not fully align with these principles when considering the urgency and severity of the young patient situation. Kay, in this principle, giuna man nato ang si Josie, which is napabiyaan na nato ang young patient, in which ang young patient is critical condition. So wala nato na sunod or wala na align ang alternative sa preserving life of St. Thomas Aquinas. So dili siya pwede. Now, let's move on to alternative number 2. Alternative number 2 might conflict with the principle of natural law articulated by St. Thomas Aquinas. In this scenario, prioritizing younger patients' surgery could be seen as a threat to Josie's life, who arguably has a higher chance of survival and a longer life expectancy. Additionally, Aquinas emphasized proportionality, where the burdens imposed by a decision should be justified by the good achieved. Here, the medical team would face a difficult ethical dilemma, carefully weighing the potential benefits of saving young patients' life against the significant risk to Josie's life. So sa kaning alternative, ni-focus na pud ta sa young patient, wherein napabiyaan na sad nato si old patient, si Josie. So dili gihapon siya pwede, dili siya align gihapon sa atong gigamit nga principle by St. Thomas Aquinas nga.
So let's move on to alternative number 3. So alternative number 3 aligns closely with the perspective of St. Thomas Aquinas, in which this emphasized the preservation of life and the avoidance of harm, which could be interpreted as prioritizing the young patient's urgent need for a heart transplant to survive while still minding the life of Josie. By diverting attention to the young patient than Josie, the medical team would adhere to the principle of proportionality, where the potential benefit of saving a life outweighs the risk or burdens involved. This approach is consistent with Aquinas' ethical framework, acknowledging the immediate and critical nature of the young patient's condition and the principle of preserving life when faced with such pressing circumstances. Now let's move on to the alternative number 4. So the alternative number 4 raises concerns regarding both the principles of Thomas Aquinas and the standard of care in medicine. Splitting a heart is an experimental procedure with significant risk for both patients. While the potential to save two lives exists, Aquinas' principle of proportionality would require careful consideration of the burdens imposed by such a high-risk procedure. Additionally, attempting this surgery might deviate from the established standard of care for heart surgery.
In weighing the consequences in alternative number 1, the elderly woman proceeds with her scheduled surgery using the donor's heart. In this case, there is a high chance that the younger client will be deceased or mamatay siya. Kay very critical naman yung condition, and without that heart, there might be a chance nga mamatay siya without that surgery. And then for the alternative number 2, the younger patient proceeds with her scheduled surgery using the donor's heart. In this case, there might be a possibility that Josie's condition worsens without further assistance and monitoring from the healthcare facility. However, this is less alarming than the alternative one, since Josie was able to survive a year waiting for the donor, so she has a high chance of survival without immediate intervention than the younger client. However, this is still not a great choice, for it is not well guaranteed a prolonged life for Josie, since um, there are no life support and monitoring for the older client, which is Josie. So,
Okay, so moving on to the alternative number 3. So in here, we are not just choosing between the two main options with whether to save the life of the older patient or to save the life of the younger patient. In here is we are trying to make an option to save both of the clients because that is what the principle is all about. So in here, in the alternative number 3, the younger patient proceeds with its scheduled surgery using the donor heart. Meanwhile, the older woman patient receives temporary mechanical circulatory support to stabilize her condition. Efforts are intensified to find suitable donors for the older patient. Once the suitable donor is found for the older patient, then she would undergo to the heart plant or heart transplant surgery. So this kind of approach allows both patients to receive life-saving treatments while waiting for suitable donors. It prioritizes the urgent needs for the young patient while ensuring that the elderly woman along or long-awaited transplant is not compromised. So it also demonstrates a commitment to maximizing the chances of successful outcomes for both patients. So another fun fact is when we are trying to look for its physiological aspects. So asa ato nakita, if magtiguang ang usa ka tawo, na dunay degeneration yung mahitabo sa ato ang lawas, whether internally or externally. So na may possibility, di ba? Or di, mahitabo man jud ni nga ang mga tiguang is na possibility nga ma-degrade ilang eyesight or ilang hearing, which would also reflect sa ato ang internal organs like ma-degenerate ang function sa atong kidney or sa atong stomach or sa atong intestine, which in fact that would be the reason why nga ang older client is less likely to endure the consequences or the surgery that the older client will undergo. So mao to nga benefit gihapon if atong i-prioritize ang younger patient because there is a high possibility nga ma-injure niya ang surgery because of its healthier body than the older client. And also, ang sa younger patient is mao lagi to if this would also reflect to the if we can still remember the trolley dilemma na atong unhon or atong i-prioritize ang younger than the older one because ang older one may have fulfilled or like nanay self actualization nga iyang nakuha sa life while ang patient or ang younger patient has still a long straight or road ahead nga padungnan sa iyahang kinabuhi. Okay, so moving on to the alternative number 4, the medical team assesses the feasibility of splitting the donor's heart to provide portions of it to both patients. If medically viable and ethically acceptable, the donor heart is split with one portion used to the elderly woman's transplant and the other for the young patient. So the transplant surgeries proceed spontaneously or in close succession with careful coordination to ensure the best outcomes for both patients. So after the post-surgery, both patients receive appropriate medical care and support to aid to their recovery and adjustments to their new hearts. So this kind of approach also allows both patients to benefit from the availability of the donor organ, di ba? Thereby maximizing the use of the resource. It demonstrates a commitment to fairness and equity in healthcare allocation while also prioritizing the urgent needs of the young patient. Additionally, it fosters a spirit of cooperation and mutual benefit among all parties involved. However, this kind of surgery is high risk, Jude, for their condition and is not suitable for this kind of surgery because ang usa is elderly client, ang usa is younger client, but critical. So splitting the heart would be like, it's just, actually, this kind of splitting a heart, murag wala sa dyan na practice here sa Philippines, but naa sa dyan sa gawas. And splitting the heart in both the clients that we are facing right now is still, maingon siya nga, temporary ra sa dyan nga surgery, and they would both need another heart donor para napod for another transplant that would that ang heart is permanently dira na sa ila. So high risk gihapon na siya, and there is still a possibility nga dili ingon ingana ka prolong ang life sa both the clients.
So given the different alternatives, we have come to a decision that if we're given this situation, we're going to proceed choosing alternative number 3, which is to divert attention to the young patient in critical condition, prioritizing the immediate need for a heart transplant to survive while Josie's medical team may provide support while she waits for another opportunity for a transplant. So why alternative number 3? Because this alternative is more grounded and aligned with the principle we based on. As what Ella said, it demonstrates the commitment of maximizing the chances of successful prolonged life for both patients, which reflects St. Thomas' principle of natural law, which is the preservation and promotion of life for both patients, while also respecting the inherent dignity and value of each individual.
So, how is this an ethical dilemma in the first place? Like, diba? Natay situation nga ang atong older client kay kuan nasa jay pa kanang heart transplant, diba nga nag-wait na siya og ayo. Unja in that stages of surgery kay nahing-abot nga younger client which is critical ang condition mao to nga natay ethical dilemma nga or like natay dilemma nga ang atong unhon is ang older client or ang younger client. So, di ba na naman dyan choice nga, pwede ang younger client ang atong unhon kay lagi critical. Nga na, di ba? And ang older client is like, okay, given situation nga, naka-prolong pa siya sa iyang life, sa walay interventions, di ba? Nakuan. Pero, naman po sa story nga, if one day intervention nga mahitabo nga itong older client, then may possibility nga ma-disease siya, di ba? So, sa younger client, kay, kuan, okay, natin reason, critical iyang situation, so dapat immediate ang intervention, di ba? But what are we trying to protect? Or what are we trying to protect and respect sa older client na nung maglibog po man siya o pilipin po? What are we trying to protect?
So what we're trying to protect sa older client is her right to equitable medical treatment, her accumulated time on the transplant waiting list, and her hope and commitment to surviving her condition. Respecting her long wait acknowledges her patience and perseverance through the transplant process, as well as her trust in the medical system to honor her place in line. This decision also reflects a respect for her dignity and the significant emotional and physical investment she has made in the expectation of receiving a life-saving transplant.
Okay, gets. So like, what's na dyan ang goal nato?
So ang atong goal, actually it's to save both patients. Pero given the situation nga ang duha ka patient is in need due sa heart transplant, ang older patient kay duha siya naghuwat for the heart and ang younger patient is in critical condition. So, as medical practitioners, as nurses, ang ato with kailangan himuon is to save both patients. But because of the given situation and the uncertainty of their survival rate, ang ato lang good goal is to prolong their life under our watch. So, wala dyan ang atong
Walay
goal is
mamatay
walay mamatay under our watch.
Okay. But okay, naka-remember lang po ba, like sa stakeholders na na-involve is sa family. So how about the family? Di ba nag-decision at nag-decision as clinical healthcare workers? How about the family? Like, how would you give it them? How would you, like,
How would you inform them
yes, oo.
sa decisions sa physician?
Mm-mm.
So, the medical team should approach both families with compassion and honesty. They should explain the situation, emphasizing how difficult it is to look for a heart donor and the urgency of the young patient's condition. They should also acknowledge Josie's weight and offer unwavering support in finding her a new donor. And as a nurse, showing open communication and shared decision making with both the patient's families will establish rapport in the first place, and if possible, can help families understand the greatest and worst possibilities that might happen and to understand the ethical consideration as well.
Okay, so like, more to, like, what if family, like, what are you going to say sa family sa ni Josie na unhun man nila ang critical patient? How would you explain that to the patient or like to the family of Josie?
Sumoto, if mauta na ang family ni Josie, the only thing to say good talaga is unahon good ang patient using critical condition. But we would also ensure the family of Josie that if ever there would be a new heart donor, sa iya pa yung heart. Since she's been waiting for a long time as well, she also has a right to receive medical care.
Sa awar po na ako is like, sa case ni Josie, mo explain ta sa iya family, pwede po mo na nga like, we have been like in a really ethical, like we're in an ethical dilemma,
Dilemma.
diba? So that's the most safest way para both of them would be saved. I mean like dili man ingon nga ato nagipasagdan si Josie, but we are trying to both save sa client's life. Diba? So it's a win-win situation.
It's a win-win situation.
Yeah, so I guess that's